In the building. In the building. What's going on tonight? We're back. All bullets are in the gun. You see us. It's not one. We look. We look. If one is missing, we ain't coming. We decided we coming together.
Yes,
And
sir.
until we get together, we're not coming.
Yes, sir.
And so you might see us individually, but you won't see this Avenger type feel, this Justice League of America type feel. But we're here, and I don't have to tell you who we are. By now, you all should know. This is the Cowboys OG podcast, in which we all come together and just gather around and have a nice little talk about what's going on in Dallas Cowboy land. I'm big time. And we got a lot to talk about. We ain't been together in a while. Ain't no telling what nobody gonna say. We just here. I got my brother, fraternity brother in the building, Cowboy Joe. You know who he is. Put your hands together for him. Thank you. And then I got my brother, the glue of the bunch. That's what I call him. He's the glue. I gave him that nickname. I think it fits quite well. The one and only B Bird. Put your hands together for him. Thank you so much. And we just here to talk about what's going on. I asked for those before I flip this thing to Cowboy Joe. I asked that you guys will hit that like button. I asked you guys will hit that share button wherever you're watching from, on all the channels that we're on. Go ahead and share it real quick. And let's talk a little Cowboy talk.
Big time. Before we go, can I do something?
Of course, it's your show, Glue.
All right. So, man, look, I noticed that you give us a great introduction, but since you do that, then you don't get an introduction. So I want to just say, man, look here. I want to just tell you and everybody, just the one and only, the Big Time Show. Y'all know him from The Ride. Y'all know him from the OG podcast. Y'all know this brother, man, for putting in work for the Cowboys, man, and he's legendary. He's the reason why I am a content creator today, because I seen that, man. He gave me, hey, I can do it too. That brother's doing it. So, man, I want to get a hat tip to Big Time, to Big Time, man. He's the guy, man. He never gets it. He always introduces us. So I want to give him a good introduction right here myself, man.
I appreciate that. I almost brought a tear to mine, but I don't. I want to talk to her. Look, I'm ready to see what y'all got to talk about tonight. Man, it's been a minute since we talked together, and I got a feeling we got a lot to cover. So ain't no telling what we gonna say here tonight. So let's go ahead and just get this thing started. Let me speak to the people that are here right now. I don't know who this dude is that came in, but hello, whatever your name is. I just leave it at that because I don't know what he gonna say, but there you go. I see we got the one and only Kels in the building, in the house. Love this.
I follow Kels on I gotta what's Twitter?
Huh?
Because I try
she's on YouTube. I don't, is she on Twitter also?
No, I don't think Kels is on Twitter. Kels, please correct us if we're wrong, but I don't think that she is on there.
Okay.
But I know she's on YouTube and Facebook. She don't have her own channel. She goes to our Built Different group on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know YouTube, but she gonna put it in there. Trust me. She gonna put it in there. Okay. In just a matter of moments. She'll be in there in just a second. But she a bad girl, man. There ain't no doubt about that. Hey, Peaches, Hannah Banana. I don't know. All right. Anyway, you're always gonna have one or two. You know what I'm talking about. So it is what it is. I think I'm right. But anyway, welcome to the show. Listen, we don't have a lot of time to waste. We're gonna go and get this thing cranked up, and as the OGs do. She said she chucked the deuce to the X, so she ain't on X.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, let's see let's go and get this thing started out. Cowboy Joe, you on the dance floor, brother. What you finna throw at us? Oh God.
Well, no, I was gonna give you another accolade to start. You know, he a powerful preacher too, B Bird. So we gotta throw that in there. Yeah. We gotta throw that in there.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, man, you know, I've been thinking. So this Seattle New England game, I'm gonna say this. So we're gonna talk about, did the Cowboys learn any lessons from watching the game? Obviously, there's a lot to look at there. But I want to say this: if the Cowboys had fired Eberflus after game 5 or 6 and made White Cotton the interim defensive coordinator, I actually think we could have played Seattle. I think we would have given them a good game. Probably could have beat them, especially with our offense. New England, no question. I just think we would beat them straight up. But so that lets us know that we're not that far off. And I think the lesson from the Seattle New England Super Bowl is, we talked about this on a couple of shows, I think the Cowboys are closer than people think. They just need to have a solid offseason and a good draft. And I think we right where we need to be. So the question is going to be, are they going to spend the money? I saw Henny and Landlord on a couple of shows this week. And they said that New England spent $350 million in the offseason.
350, yeah.
And Seattle was pretty close.
They spent 250, I think.
So
250 worth of contracts, 350 worth of contracts. Not in 1 year, but tie people to that much contract.
So if we start right there, and Jerry bust the budget as he's talking about doing, I think the Cowboys can be right back where we need to be. I do think they're going to have to sign Pickens. I'm not a big fan of trading Pickens or not signing them. So let's talk about how close the Cowboys are to Seattle and New England. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So Mike Vrabel got a lot of credit, as he should. But the thing is that no one really talks about. They don't talk about the $350 million that they spent in free agency. So they did two things in the offseason. They got a new coach, a new vision, and they also gave him new players. Not all new, but I think he got about 6 starters out of free agency. So So when you look at the offenses, our offense is better than both those teams' offense. That's just flat out. And so our quarterbacks are better than both those teams' quarterbacks that played in the Super Bowl. And so what we have to do is we have to put the resources on defense. I think they've made the first step, because as of now, the only thing you can do is get new coaches. They've done that. I think that they got a coaching staff. To be totally honest with you, we all brothers here. Ain't gonna be taking no BS from them boys, man. They're gonna have a standard, and if you don't reach that standard, you're not gonna play. And until you're ready to reach that standard, and that standard is gonna be toughness, man, to getting after people, man. That's what it's gonna be. So I'm glad, and just how far off we are. Nah, we're not that far off, man. But that organization, those two organizations got them to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about general manager, president, all the way down to the players, and they were solid throughout and on both those, and that's what got them to the Super Bowl, man. One of the things somebody said the other day, I can't remember why I saw that Twitter, said it seemed like just with dumb luck, the Cowboys end up in the Super Bowl. The problem is that but luck comes to the prepared, right? And so we don't prepare right, front office wise and everything else, culture wise. So then when things do bounce our way, we can't never take advantage of it. We probably had some times where things did bounce our way, but we just wasn't solid from the top to bottom to be able to take advantage of it.
Wow. How close are we to Seattle? I'm going to say it remains to be seen. Obviously that's an easy way out, but see, as I was telling B-Bird Cowboy Joe just before we came on, is that everybody sees the Super Bowl champion, and then they that's the standard. That's the one that you should copy off of, or try to, at least. That if that system worked and won a world championship, that's the standard bearer. Well, once again, as I've said for years, that we have this example of a team really going, quote unquote, all in, and it's worked. It worked with Seattle just now. What was the count again? What Seattle Cow much money they spend?
I think the number was $250 million in contracts.
$250 million in contract, which means there was a lot of people on that team that were not Seattle Seahawks at the beginning of the season before. So,
and we know of one.
50. We saw the Rams do it with Matthew Stafford when he came over.
Yes.
They went all in and they traded their draft picks away. We didn't care nothing about the future. If you remember, the Super Bowl was in SoFi Stadium in that year, and they said, we're going to win a World Championship in our home stadium. And they won it. They went all in. They went and got Jalen Ramsey. They got Floyd. They had Dante Fowler. They went and got creative. They didn't care nothing about the picks. And they won.
Can remember before that. It's a van they got too.
Floyd. I remember his name. Little. Was it Little or Floyd?
The one from isn't it from DeSoto? I can't think.
He was an outside guy.
Yeah.
And then the year before that, we all know about the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. And they, with Brady there, you didn't know if he was going to retire. He was over 40 years old. The Buccaneers said, man, we're going to restructure this whole thing. We're going to go get Gronk out of retirement, take him out of WWE. We're going to go get everybody Brady need, and we're going to go for a world's championship. It's
Von Miller, I'm sorry.
And they won. The Buccaneers won it.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about is, I'm not saying the Cowboys need to do it all the way like that, but by now, everybody should know that this draft and developmental system, primarily, that's not the way it's getting done right now. Guys are going out, they're going to get guys, you know what I'm saying? And so the way I look at it is, we're excited about all these coaches. We're excited about their resumes. We're excited that, all this is going on. But my problem is, Jerry and Steven had the same mentality. And if that is the case, I told y'all, I'm gonna be just like this. I'm not until I see the front office match maybe what these coaches are trying to do, which is something new, innovative. Are you gonna give these coaches, particularly on defense, what they need or what they want actually in order to make this thing go the way that, I ain't saying we're gonna win it in 1 year, but what I believe we should be building. And I don't think Jerry and Steven's way, that's not gonna cut it. We tried that way for so many years. It got us Pro Bowlers. Yes. It got us all pros. Yes, it did that. But when the playoff time came, it got us one and done primarily. In order to do it, now you got to see what's going on, what's going to get us over the hump. They went out and bought some dogs, man. Seattle didn't have no all-pro on their defense, but they had a bunch of guys that knew how to play. You know what I'm saying? That know how to play for real. And once you collect those guys and they're hungry like that, guess what? You see how dominant they were. That's one of the better defenses that we done seen in the last 15, 20 years. I mean, they dominated.
Yeah.
That's what won the championship, to be honest with you. The defense did it. So, again, so far, so good. But as I said on my show, y'all, we're entering to the little time capsule.
Yeah.
Where it's Jerry and Stevens, they about to tag them in. This is what they do. And I'm anxious to see the mentality and the product, I guess the results of their mentality they're gonna have this year in the offseason. If it's the same, then I can't get too excited. That's just me. Sorry for my pessimism. I'm not.
No, that's real.
Until I see them change. I see what Shotty's done. I can tell what he's done. Jared Steven got out the way, obviously, for this defense. All these new guys, especially the new guy that they hired today. But it's obvious Jared Steven had nothing to do with this, which is what we wanted. Fine, perfect. But when it comes to this free agency and draft and all that, this is when we're going to find out real early how things are going to run. That's all I got.
Hey, big time. Just to add on to the Rams roster that year, it was Von Miller that they
right there, a hired assassin.
Yeah,
right
hired assassin, man. he played, and he also helped Donald out on leadership. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but he told him, "No, you got to be a vocal leader. You can't just lead by example." And so, they brought that guy in, and he did well. So they brought a lot of guys in. They did well that year. On you, Cowboy Joe.
So my son went to school with Von Miller. He's been to my house a few times back in the day.
Oh, cool.
Before he went to A&M. But so I think Seattle, they had 4 drafted players. The other 7 guys were free agents.
Wow.
So that kind of lets you know what they did in the offseason. And New England had several free agents. So the offseason, what Jerry has done the last few years, or several years, he always comes up with this thing that he does, whether it's, we've heard hang around the rim, we've heard all in. So the new hang around the rim is bust the budget. And so typically he's able to get by with that. I don't know if it's going to work this offseason, because with the content creators and social media just going to different levels where it's never been before, I don't think he's going to be able to get to that bust a budget thing and just roll with it. So yeah, when does free agency actually start, guys?
Free agency starts in right after combine, if I'm not mistaken. Kels know about the actual date and time. Trust me, she could put it in for us. Kels, just in case you didn't hear, what date does free agency actually start? What day? I believe it's in March, right around combine time, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I'm right on it.
So from what I said, March 11th.
March 11th, I thought. Yeah, somewhere in that area.
And when does it end in April? Because I remember several years back, they kept theirs on a roster to April when all the free agency money had dried up. I remember that April date.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. So
speaking of Dez, I guess we can kind of move into, if y'all don't mind, Pickens, because they kind of broke that news Super Bowl weekend as far as possibly placing a franchise tag on him. They didn't even went one more step and said trading him. And I'll give you my and I told y'all this before maybe, but I love Pickens out of college because he reminded me of Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Dez Bryant. They had the ability, but they also had that dog in them, man. I'm talking about that. Now I'll fight you right now. We can go out in the alley and fight, and that's a different type of toughness, a type of mentality too, because they never was afraid of those two guys I mentioned earlier. They went to the big lights. They love the big lights. They ain't shy away from it. I think Pickens is the same type guy. And Cowboy Joe know I said this over and over again. That's my son's favorite player, so he's really keeping an eye on this. Every time he gets an update about it, he's calling me, Dad, they talking about doing this. Man, they better not let him go, And so I'm hoping that for his sake, they don't. One of the things that we're doing now is now we're starting to say Pickens or Crosby, which to me, if you're in Philadelphia, they never ask if or. They do, how can we do and? And so that could be a question there too, because you can move the money around. Now, I'm going to jump to this one subject, and I actually have an opinion about the Pickens thing. Do you know that they had a chart that came out the other day that freeing up money, the Cowboys would have the most space in the NFL, the most salary cap available in the NFL by redoing contracts, and Philadelphia would have the least. The Cowboys was up at like 130 million or something like that, some big number, and Philadelphia's at 2.9. What that tells me is Philadelphia is doing all they can, like with their contracts and put things under the salary cap, getting people in under the salary cap to win now, and the opposite end for the Cowboys. So they have a lot of room available, but they've had that before and they still have not used it. So I guess the Pickens thing we can discuss, but I would like to also say, and you know what I'm saying, we don't have to have Crosby or Pickens. It could be Crosby and Pickens, or Pickens in another defensive end.
Go get it, Joe. What you think about it?
So I agree with that. There is some discussion with content creators about the Cowboys trading Pickens to the Raiders for Crosby. I'm not a big fan of that route. Number one, because I think it's going to be some other teams bidding for Crosby. We don't even know when that's going to start. I guess it's probably going to start, I guess, March 11th, probably, it sounds like. But no, he's under contract, so he wouldn't really be a free agent, right? No. So again, I don't think we know what that's going to look like if you're trading for Crosby. So I think the Pickens thing and the Cowboys need to get that done early, get that off the table, and then you can look at the Crosby thing. But I'm definitely in a mindset of, as I said on our show a couple of weeks ago, the Cowboys need to truly go all in. They need to truly bust the budget, and part of that is you just putting together an all-star team. What the Cowboys typically do, they'll take 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back. So they'll trade for Crosby or a player like that, but they'll let Pickens walk, or they'll do something else. At some point, you got to put all of your chips on the table and just say, we going for the whole thing. And for the Rams, the 49ers, the Seattle's and New England's of the world, they do it every year. This is not something new for Seattle. This is not something new for New England and the other teams that we mentioned. We're the only team that tends to hang around the rim. So I just think for one off season, just go all in, get Pickens signed early. You want to kick the tires on Max Crosby, go ahead and do that. Trey Hendrickson, he might be our Tank Lawrence. The Seattle signed Tank Lawrence. He came in and helped them win. Trey Hendrickson could be our Tank Lawrence. So get Pickens signed, go out there and go out in free agency, go all in. And I just think if you do that, guys, with Dak, Pickens, CD, we talk about tight end a little bit over the next few weeks. With our offensive line and the running game that we have, I think we'll be able to compete with these teams. I really do.
We developed a bad habit in Dallas, to me. And that is that we don't have no problem letting our best players go. Whether that's it's been primarily by trade. I mean, we just lost Michael Parsons last year. I mean, who does that?
Nobody.
Let's go back to the beginning. Who does that?
Nobody.
And primarily when we lose them, it's over money. So again, I'm going back to where I started from. If you're worried about money, which is the Cowboys' case because they love working through the media when it comes to starting to put their side of the story out. This is usually when they start bad mouthing some of our players, like they did Michael, like they did Dez, like they did, slightly. They even tried to do it slightly with Zach Martin when he tried to skip the line, but he did skip the line and did it. I mean, the list go on and on. We just have the same mentality. We always start trying to nitpick. We did it to Amari Cooper. Same thing. We don't have no problem with losing our best players, and that's part of the reason why Joe just said we go one step up, do a moonwalk, 2 steps back. So that's okay. She said correction. Trade probably had nothing to do with money. I agree with you, Kales, on that. It was personal. That's really what it was. It was definitely personal when it came to that. I agree with you on that. But it involved money. The reason why I said that is because Jared thought he had a deal made. Mugata came and said, no, here we go. So it's personal. But here's my point. I don't like us losing our best players. So you saw what the offense was with Pickens. Everybody saw it. It's a very dangerous offense. A lot of people say it's a Super Bowl caliber offense. That's fine. But the problem with the Cowboys is, watch this, y'all. The problem with the Cowboys is that they saw this offense without Pickens. All right? They saw Dak still throw for 4,000 yards with Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb. They saw CD be an all-pro twice without George Pickens. They saw it. And they saw it primarily almost without a running game. So what they're saying is, look, we saw Dak still have almost a number one offense, top 5 offense without George Pickens. That's what the problem is. That's why the debate, if there's a debate in that building, a lot of the fans are talking about trading George. My only question is this. Again, do you want to win now or are you building for the future? Now, if you're building for the future, I guess you can throw in Pickens and, sign and trade them and get what you can get if you're talking about the future. But if you're talking about winning right now, you build on top of Pickens. That's what you do. Watch, look. I mean, come on now, y'all. I mean, I was born at night, but not last night. Listen, if you got the number one offense in the league in a lot of the categories, why change it? Terrence Steele, much as y'all talk bad about him, guess what? He's a part of being on the number one offense in the league. He ain't hurt you that bad. You still was number one. Yes, he gave up a few plays. Yes, you might get a little bit better on that. And then here's another common sense thing. If you're talking about trading for Pickens, it all depends on who you're getting for him. Everybody keeps throwing up Crosby name. I don't know if the Raiders gonna give up Crosby for that. But here's what I'm saying though. If you're trading Pickens away, why are we so hype about the unknown? You're talking about you're gonna get 2 first-round picks next year, and
I don't like that.
Next year, and then a pick in 2028. That man, I don't care nothing about no kid that's a sophomore in college. I don't know what they can do. Who is it? I mean, I need for some for sure stuff. Yeah. And right now, the for sure thing is to go to war with the number one offense in the league. Keep strengthening your strength. Your strength is Dak. Your strength is Tyler Smith. Your strength seems to be Booker. Your strength is CD and Pickens. Now, if I didn't mention Dak, your strength is Dak. That's your offense. I mean, we got other report. Build off that. Now, if you want to touch anything on offense, go give me another number 2 running back. They can flat out go. If you want to strengthen your strength, if you want to talk about offense, you know, the weakness obviously is on defense. We all know that. But don't subtract the superpower. I mean, you know, look, Batman and Robin, both are considered superheroes. But if you take Batman away from Robin, Robin ain't nothing. Robin couldn't fly. All Robin had was a utility belt. That's all he had. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't think. Batman did all the thinking. I don't want to put CD back in that position where he got to be totally Batman. And now you're number 2 receiver. And listen, I like Ryan Flournoy too. I do. I think Flournoy would do a pretty good job. But he's not George Pickens.
No.
Let's stop it. So I'm saying we got to get out of it. I hope Jerry and them don't do that. But hey, they're going to tag them anyway, y'all. Everybody. Yeah. They're going to tag them. Let's just see what happens after that.
So let me explain myself. I love George Pickens, right?
Yeah.
And so now what I have to do is divorce my feelings away from me being logical. Okay, so when they franchise tagged him, or not, they haven't franchise tagged him yet, but when they put that out there, I was like, oh man, why are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just go negotiate and then franchise later. But then if you think about it, you gotta put the franchise tag on him at least to negotiate, right? Then you say, hey, he might be for a franchise trade, franchise tag it in, eventually trade. Then you say, man, why are they putting that out there? Well, they're trying to look. You got to at least see what somebody may give you for George Pickens. I see nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
and that's from a logical standpoint. That's good business.
Yeah.
Then you say this, and coming from man, I'm telling you, George Pickens was my favorite before he got here. One of my favorite wide receivers in the league. So you know when we got him, I was jazzed up. But then you say, okay, our defense is so bad. Like, can we really afford to have 2 pretty much number 1 wide receivers at number 1 wide receiver pay? Then you say, okay, can the resources be used elsewhere? You know what I'm saying? To say, I'm just going to throw this trade out. Say you go to Raiders and say, we want to trade straight up George Pickens for Crosby. Then you say, does Crosby help us more than Pickens do? And then I would say, from a standpoint, I would say, yeah, he would. Because why? Because the person that's closest to Crosby on his line is far away, like the number. Like if Crosby's a 9, our next best pass rusher is probably about a 3. And then you say, okay, do we have anybody that can, we got CD, we know he's the number 1. Then you look at the year Ryan Flournoy had. Then you could say, so we won't have 2 1s. We'll have 1 and a 2. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Did we better our team overall? You say, yeah, we took a step back on offense, but on defense we took a big step forward. You know, so I can actually see that happening, and I'm trying to figure this thing out in my mind. I do want Pickens, but I want to be responsible in my mindset about the way we do approach this, because it is you just never know what somebody's going to give you for Pickens, right? I would definitely I wouldn't do no second round draft pick, but I'm saying like it had to be an impact player for me, and I can understand why people look at it that way.
Before Joe come in with his tale, let me get the chat involved in this. I need y'all guys, because we're responsible over here. We just don't be talking just to be talking. Now, most of all of you are Cowboy fans in the chat. I want to ask y'all this question, because I know what I'm going to say no before I even answer, but I want y'all to answer this in the chat. Y'all know how Jerry Jones is. Do y'all actually see him paying George Pickens, whatever the price may be, 38, 39, 40, 41 million, and CD 35? I mean, come on now. I mean, we talking about a cheap guy whose reputation says, listen, I'd rather pay one guy. Why should I pay this guy this big salary when I can pay 3 guys? This is what he says. So y'all, I need y'all to answer that question before Joe go. Do y'all really believe Jerry is going to put that amount of money long term now? I get him doing 1 year, 28 million. I get that one. And he really don't want to do the tag like that, but I believe he want 1 more year of this. But do y'all really believe Jerry, out of all what we done seen over the years, is going to pay that amount of money for 2 guys? Come on, y'all. I need y'all to put that in the chat. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
So for me, it's trust all the way around. So I don't actually trust the Cowboys, including the front office. And if it's a trade, I just think they're going to get smoked, because most of the time they get smoked on trades. They're not good at trades. They traded for Pickens. They gave up a 3. That may be the best trade they've done in the last 30 years. I can't think of another trade that they've done that's gone that well. Now, you can say, well, the Amari Cooper trade, maybe. They didn't hang on to Amari Cooper long enough. They traded him too soon, and they got smoked. If they had just kept Amari Cooper, I think they make it to an NFC Championship game with Amari Cooper, CD, and a couple of other guys. So my issue is just trust all the way around. I don't trust that they're going to do a good job on the trade. I don't trust that they're going to be the team that's going to be able to pull this off, trading for Max Crosby. If the Eagles are looking for Max Crosby, it could be the 49ers. Who knows? Yeah. I just think they do a better job of doing trades than we do. So I don't trust them doing the trade. And number 2, I don't trust them sort of backfilling this Pickens role on our offense with somebody else. And I just think Ryan Flournoy, he's not a 2. I think he's a 3. I never, ever in my mind thought that Michael Gallup was a 2. He never was a 2 for me. He was always a 3 or a 4. So Flournoy, he had some success. I don't think he's a 2. And then I just think that with our team, we need a 1A and 1B receiver. We already got that. And I look at it from this standpoint too, about depth, B-Bird.
Yeah.
You know, you got Pickens, Lamb, Flournoy, and you throw another guy in there. What happens if CD pulls a hamstring for four games and you don't have Pickens? Your number 1 receiver is now Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah.
Do you really think you're going to be able to win 4 or 5 games while CD is out? You don't have Pickens. Are you going to be able to beat teams with Ryan Flournoy and I don't even know what Mingo? No. I just think you should sign Pickens, not only because of what he brings to the table. He's a for sure deal to me at this point. But what's going to happen if one of your receivers get hurt? Then you back to where you started from, big time. So I'm in the camp of I want to see them do both. I want to see them sign Pickens. I want to see them try to trade for Max Crosby. If you can't get Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, and those are the names that we know of. Look at what Seattle did when they signed Tank. We can find another player that's not Max Crosby or Hendrickson, and we'll, so let's go that route versus you don't sign Pickens, you don't get Crosby. Your team is not going to be better. That's not what we're looking at.
So let me throw this in though. If you look at the two Super Bowl teams, which is what everybody copied, neither one of those teams, so they had one. JSN was the most accomplished wide receiver out of all the group on both teams if you combine them. So we got two teams that made the Super Bowl that did not have two outstanding number one type wide receivers on the outside. So I mean, really, we're
but Cup ain't too far from that. Let me just throw that
fell
one.
Off though, man. Cup got more name than he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, he done went down since his injury. You could tell he's not the same, but he's still a problem.
And one more point I wanted to make, because you were right, Cowboy Joe. One of the ones that I didn't know was a free agent was Nick Herbert, the outside linebacker out of Pittsburgh. He's a sack demon, man. So you're right about that. I mean, you got Trey Henderson and those guys are just free agents. But I think Kelly Kell said that they franchise tagged him, or Cincinnati's going to franchise tag him. I saw it in the chat. But I'm talking about Henderson.
And she mentioned something that caught my attention, and I said this when it happened. I don't think they got enough for Parsons, but go ahead, B. Bird.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say is that they got other defensive ends out there that we can sign without trading draft picks or anything like that, because that's what it's going to, or to get Crosby, here's got to be a trade. You know what I'm saying? So you got people out there that you can get without.
And one question I have for you guys both, and I've been talking to my son about this offline, the type of defense that we're getting ready to deploy, does Max Crosby fit that defense?
You're right.
Yes.
He does?
Yeah.
He's a superstar. He
is, man.
In the defense.
Okay.
So he like him fit in the defense.
He got that motor too, man.
He got the motor, and then when it comes to, if you were talking about Crosby, you got to look at it as a whole. It's almost on the defensive line, pick your poison. Who you gonna double? If you double Quentin, that means Crosby going one-on-one with somebody, and I take my chance on that. If you double Crosby, that means Quentin is gonna go one-on-one with somebody. Osa and Clark, it will be one-on-one regardless. Because you got to pick a choice who you want to kill, Crosby or Quentin. You can't do both. There's no way. And so even then you look at people like Osa and Kenny Clark going one-on-one. I take my chances with that too. So it's more than just saying, okay, Crosby.
Yeah.
No, look at the D-line. I ain't even mentioned Izaraku yet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Who's probably going to get better, next year. So I'm saying that when you get somebody like that, that's why Seattle, even though they didn't have all pros, but look at who were all on that defensive line. Pick your poison. Who you gonna double? That's the reason why they were so effective like that. The year with the Rams, where B. Bird was talking about over. Von Miller a few years ago was still Von Miller on that team. Now you got Aaron Donald in the middle. You're doubling him because and Von and those outside rushers were just killing, because it's a battle of a whole. So does he fit? Yes, because of the motor that Crosby has. It ain't too many guys like him. You know what I'm saying? Hendrickson is good, but he ain't Crosby.
No.
And I'm just trying to tell you, there's only one guy that I know that got that type of motor, and that dude in Cleveland. That's Garrett.
Yeah.
That's it. I've seen them all. That Watt is like that, but TJ don't have the body.
Yeah, he been injured a lot.
Garrett, you know what I'm saying? The force.
Yeah.
You put two guys on Watt, you can kind of neutralize him, but you can put two guys on Crosby like he done made a living off destroying people, destroying double teams. So that's the difference there. So yeah, he will fit the system. It ain't no question about that. Let me say this real quick. I had it up earlier, but Cowboy fan, you gotta, I guess in essence, I'm coming to the front office defense here. We gotta be fair to Jerry and Steven on this part, or whoever it is. If Pickens does not sign, or they offer him a real good deal, then what you gonna do? If they offer him 39, 40, I mean that. Come on now. If they offer him that and he turns it down, I mean, what are you blaming Jerry? I mean, no. Jerry don't want to pay no $41, $42 million. He don't want to reset the market. That ain't, look, you got to be fair now. Come on now. Chase, I think Chase is the number one guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's at 40.
Chase is the number one guy. Pickens has had a great year, but Chase done had years, plural, to earn that money. You got to do more than 1 year now. I mean, I love Pickens just like all y'all do, but I'm not paying them Chase money. I mean, you got to be a little. I mean, come on now. We're going to have to be fair, because if he turns it down, now, and a lot of y'all, I saw it in the chat, because y'all y'all talking about character now, not the field. Y'all thinking he gonna sit out, and somebody said if he sits out, he comes back in by week 10, he get all his money and all that type of stuff. But you losing money per game check. I don't know if Cowboys gonna get that money back.
That's right.
That's a roll of the dice by Pickens. You'll get the money that you play, but they don't necessarily have to give you your money back. They don't have to do that. They don't. Yeah. They just showed you that with Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
When Diggs missed his money, they could have, when he came back, they could have gave him his money back. They said, no, partner. We didn't give you that workout bonus back. You didn't come. No. You lost that. That was your stuff. Too bad. So I know y'all thinking that Pittsburgh or whatever guy gonna show up, and I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Pickens' financial situation, nobody knows. I don't know if he would sit it out. That's a lot of money to give up per game. It's a lot of money. We're talking about $28 million for the franchise tag. That's good money, actually, especially if you never had it. So it's a lot of questions. Hopefully that's not the case. But we'll see. But I do know this: if I were to put money on it, they're gonna franchise him. And then they'll put the appearance, say they got to July 15th to work out a long-term deal. So from March, I'm sorry, that's coming up. If I'm not mistaken, Kels put that in. I think it's February when they had to put the tag on him. So before this month is over with, he'll have the tag.
So he doesn't officially have. He doesn't have it. They haven't done it yet.
No, they haven't done it yet. But he's going to done it yet. They're not going. This is gonna be a long fight here. Jerry ain't just gonna just give it up like that. I just don't see him paying that type of money. I can see him paying $28 million.
So now's my time to plug what I always do. I was the first one to say, after they got traded, I called Law's show and said, why didn't we make it contingent upon the trade, him signing a contract for $28 million a year for 3 years? Yeah. And everybody was like, no, you got to prove. I say, man, this guy is going to blow up with Dak Prescott. I'm telling y'all, This guy can play. He got this many yards with them trash receivers in that bad weather in Pittsburgh. Trash quarterbacks in that bad weather down there. I say, man, just sometimes you got to be, as a GM, you got to be able to see the future, right? Yeah. You got to be, you got anticipatory skills like a quarterback. Anticipate somebody being open. You got to anticipate somebody being good. You can't wait till they're good and then go sign them, because you already got them signed. You good to go. They can hold out. But
let me jump in on that and give it right back to you. Yeah. The worst thing that happened to the Jones family, if that was their plan, was when CD went down. CD went down. Yeah. Pickens took it to a completely different level. Yeah. And the ball actually bounced in his court in his favor. Like, no, I ain't signing nothing now, because I'm going to show y'all what I'm all about. I'm going to show you what I am. That's when he really made all pro. During that time when CD went down, he lost his mind. Yeah. And he didn't. And he's look, I ain't got to talk about no contract. Let me finish this year out, and then you gonna find out exactly who I am. And now we stuck here, and he made more money during those weeks, when CD was out. That's where he made his money, whatever money he gonna get. Now, I'm excluding the franchise tag because every team in the world know now. The question was, remember, when CD went down, is George Pickens a number one wide receiver? Man, George eliminated that question real quick.
So good.
You ain't got to ask that question no more. So he is a true number one receiver, and he deserves to get his money. I'm in full agreement with that. If this was Philadelphia, man, Philadelphia throw this contract out last week. But this the Dallas Cowboys, man. This Jerry Jones. Cheap Jerry Jones. And until I see a difference, I'm not going to believe it. That's just me. I'm sorry.
Now, I'm going to say this one thing, Joe, and I'll let you go. You said something about top of the market. I don't think, even I'm a big fan of Pickens, but he doesn't deserve top of the market. I mean, he had one good year. He should be, in the 30-something millions, right? Probably $35 million. So I think that, that contract comes to him and he kind of holds out on that. Then that's on him. I mean, and I think Jay Bryant in there, I think he's kind of getting on Mulligetta. Jay Bryant, I'm gonna tell you something, and I'll tell everybody. Mulligetta did nothing wrong last year in the Parsons negotiations. You can't even tell me one thing that he did wrong. He didn't do one thing wrong. All he did is have a client named Michael Parsons, and now people pick on him for the negotiations, which you can't even tell me one step that he did wrong in that whole thing. And so I know he's Pickens' agent. I just don't know how that's going to go. I think Jerry and them, when I brought that up to a content creator, he said that they've had prior dealings with Mulligetta with other players, and it wasn't an issue. I don't know about our show or another show I was listening to. So anyway, that's it for me.
So as far as the franchise seeing into the future, if I had to rank the 32 teams with being able to see into the future, they 32 for sure. It ain't even close. They just don't do that. That's how they got to where they are with Dak. They could have got Dak done for a lot less than they did, but they didn't see into the future. They could have got Parsons.
Franchise tagged him twice.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Good Lord.
They the worst in the league when it comes to these contracts. And then the other thing is, shout out to Landlord and the HTM and other guys. One of the things that they do that they're never accountable for is they always sign the wrong guys early. There's just no way you sign Michael Gallup to that contract.
No.
You just don't. Even the contract they did with Zach Martin and Zeke, you just don't do those deals. And so I think Pickens, Tyrone Church put it in the chat earlier. I think this is going to be a $35, maybe $36 million a year deal. I think that's where it gets done. I agree. If Mulligetta is asking for 40, 41 million, that's probably not going to get it done. But it's something that with Pickens, I'm just my observation of Pickens, just listening to him, interviews he's done. I just don't think he's going to come in and just say, I want to get paid 40, 41 million dollars or I'm out. I think if he sees 35, 36, that's right where CD is. I think they might be able to get it done with 34, 35. We're going to know when we know, but I just don't see Pickens and Mulligetta saying, we want to reset the market. We want 40, 41 million dollars. I just don't see that myself.
I could see it if they already know they'll work down from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Negotiation, yeah.
But you ain't going to get it. You can just negotiate down from there. I even though I don't think he should be asking for that, but Mulligetta, of course. And in terms of Parsons, everybody knew when Parsons got his contract, whether it was going to be from Dallas or somewhere else, he was going to be the highest paid defensive player ever. Everybody knew that because it was his turn. I don't think it's Pickens' turn to reset the market.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think I agree with y'all, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go up there and work down from there. I can see Jerry saying 34, and he know he probably deserve more than 34, and they just work it out from there. But But here's the thing. Ain't a lot of time, y'all. The exclusive, y'all see right now, I left it up there on purpose so I wouldn't forget. The exclusive, non-exclusive transitional tag window is February 17th through the 28th. So between those days there, they have to put a tag on them if they're going to use it, of course. If they're going to use it, we're only a couple of weeks away. That is going to be done, and it's the smart move. You know they ain't gonna have this contract worked out if they do it long term. It's not gonna be worked out now. They'll put the tag there, and from February to July the 15th, they got all that time to try to hammer out a long-term deal, and that's where the fight is gonna be at. So, I mean, it's obvious what's gonna happen. We've been saying this since last year. We knew that the tag was gonna be used on there. It don't necessarily mean it's gonna stay there. We just got to see how serious Jerry and how serious Jerry is. We'll find out. Of course, he loves Pickens. Dak love Pickens. CD love Pickens. Everybody love Pickens. Pickens love Dallas so far. We know that. We just gonna find out. We just going against. Has Jerry turned over a new leaf? I don't think so. I don't. Because I done seen him how he done all our star players. I done seen it. As he turned over a new leaf, we about to find out. That's the only thing I'm saying. I hope he gets it because when we start off week 1, I want this offense to be right where it was last season. Yeah. And go to work with this team. You can still add on a few more, another piece to it. I'm cool with it. I just don't want to see I don't want to see CD and Ryan Flournoy. I want to see CD and George Pickens. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I've seen Dak do it with Brandon Cooks and CD. I've seen it. Dak gonna still give me 4,000. He gonna give it to me. Dak still gonna give me right at 30 touchdowns if he don't have Pickens. I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times. I saw when he did when Amari Cooper left. I saw it. So I know what Dak gonna do. He's still gonna be Dak. But he's so much more potent when he got Pickens on the other side with CD. It's unstoppable, man. It really is. And that's what Cowboy Joe said again. It's also it's like taking, see, you took 2 or 3 steps up when you got Pickens. Don't Michael Jackson this thing. Don't moonwalk back 2 steps. There's a difference between Flournoy, if you want to say Tolbert, whoever, and George Pickens.
Yeah.
You don't trade away your best players. No team really does this, except Dallas Cowboys.
So I guess another topic, if y'all don't mind me moving on, this topic that's kind of near and dear to me. So I saw that, they were showing DeMarcus Lawrence comments when he first went to Seattle. And then they start showing, I think Josine Anderson, I think that's her name, Josine Anderson, really was pressing him in the locker room after the win about the Cowboys, which was kind of weird to me because that'd be too awkward for me to be asking that question. I'd be like, no, I'll be talking about your Super Bowl victory, this, that, and other. But she kind of pressed him to answer some questions about the Cowboys or whatever. And to me, his answers were just normal answers of a human that, you got a little rejection from the prior team. So this what I say, and this is an analogy I gave before. And because some content creators were trying to trash DeMarcus Lawrence about his time here and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I said, I've seen, and Cowboy Joe, we down here in Texas, we seen high school teams get beat 80-0, right? 80-0. And it's 2 ways a coach can handle that. The head coach that got blanked can say, hey, man, that other coach was classless. They should have put in backups or third strings and all that kind of stuff. There's a classless team, this, that, and other. Or you can say, we got to be better. Off season, we got to do better. We got to, hey, the community, we got to get more people coming out to the games. Hey, we got to hit the weights harder. We got to get stronger. We got to get faster. We got to get better. Our coaching got to get better. We can look at that, take that time and look at ourselves. So what I'm saying is this: DeMarcus Lawrence, he can talk his talk because he got the championship. That's just my opinion. And so whoever's mad about that, you pointing at the wrong person. Don't dog this dude out. This dude was not wanted by the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't even offer him a contract. He went to Seattle, and he did say, I wasn't going to win in Dallas. Well, guess what? He was right. And so then he went on to win the Super Bowl. And then, like he said, hey, that stuff beneath me now. What he's trying to say is basically, I ain't really want to talk about it. Ain't got no Super Bowl. I'm in the category now of world champions. You can never take that away from me. And I wasn't going to get that down there, and that organization didn't get it. And guess what? You can, however you want to respond to that, it shows me who you are. If you want to go whine about him talking bad about you, I know what kind of person you are. If you take that and take it inside and say, no, it's real criticism. I got to go get better. And you know what I'm saying? I got to do better. If I want to shut him up, I got to be in the Super Bowl next year and him be at home. And I got to win it. And so that should motivate you. I'm talking about players, content creators, the front office. Everybody should be motivated by that. And you know, if you take it the other way, that tells me everything I need to know about you. You're a whiner.
So I'm gonna take it in this direction. With Tank, you know, Aiden Durde was the defensive coordinator, although he didn't call the plays. McDonald actually called the plays. I just think it's odd that, well, it's not odd. It's something that you can just see. Where Jerry and Steven get off the hook, in my opinion, they're just able to just come in and just say the same thing and over and over. They had a press conference a couple of weeks ago. I still ain't figured out why they had a press conference. Like, for what? They should have a press conference next week about the number of players and coaches that have left here and went to other organizations and won Super Bowls. They never answer for that. So was excited for Tank. And I'll say this about Tank, big time. We talking about contract negotiations. Tank Lawrence never lost a contract negotiation with Steven and Jerry. You remember the year his contract was up and he had to have his shoulder surgery?
Yeah, I remember
he told them, I'm not having this surgery until you give me a new contract.
Yeah.
And then on his last contract, he was straight business. Contract was stalling out. They was playing around. He got on the phone and called Steven himself and got the deal done. So hats off to him. He never lost a negotiation. And so, but yeah, I just think there's just no accountability. There's zero accountability for this front office, whether it's free agency, drafts, the way they do contracts. People leave here and go win championships on other teams, and it's just never brought up. So I want them to have a press conference next week and just talk about the number of players that have left here and coaches. They go somewhere else big time, and they can all of a sudden win a Super Bowl. I don't understand what's happening here.
I'll say this very quickly, and we can move on. Tank said when he first got to Seattle, he said, I love Dallas. Dallas is my home. He said, but I will never win a Super Bowl there, which is true because he's gone. So he'll never win again. I mean, that's how you look at it. Or two, if you want to take it and say, well, he's doing a shot at the Cowboys organization. Well, if you've been somewhere 10 years and then you didn't get to close out your career in the place where you only play, you have a little salt in your system as well. So whichever way you want to roll with that was that. When the young lady, Josina, asked him about Dallas, he didn't take a shot at Dallas. He just said, I'm a champion now. So therefore, he didn't lie.
Mm-mm.
He didn't win a Super Bowl in Dallas. And what he did not say, if you go back to his conference when he first got there, he did not say, I won't win a Super Bowl in Dallas and I will win a Super Bowl in Seattle. He never said, I will win a Super Bowl in Seattle. Only thing he said was, I won't win one in Dallas. He didn't lie. So in no sense of getting mad, the man went on a great team and they won it. Bottom line. Nobody had Seattle win the Super Bowl this year. Nobody. Nobody had Seattle win the Super Bowl. Let's just be honest. They grew right before our eyes, and they turned this thing up in the last 5-6 weeks of the season, and it just rolled all the way through the playoffs. That's what happened. They turned into a monster on defense. Seattle wasn't playing this type of defense. Well, they did all year, but not like this. It was just flat out dominance. And D-Law, the only thing I got a problem with D-Law is that he was always hurt in Dallas. He get to Seattle and play the whole goddamn year. now that's the problem I got with D-Law. He stayed healthy finally, and he still is D-Law. He still can play. So he didn't lie, y'all. He's supposed to have some swag. He's a world champion now.
That's right.
Yep. Lawrence, they asked DeMarcus Lawrence the same thing. DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Ware didn't go off on Dallas. He just went to Denver and he won. He came back to Dallas. Hey, he still loved the Cowboys, but you're a champion. That's all.
And when I saw Lawrence play a couple, because one game, I don't know if y'all, he had 2 touchdowns in one game, which is crazy, man, for a defensive player. But one of the things too, man, is that going back to, we ain't gonna talk about DeMarcus Lawrence much. I just want to say this one thing. The underestimated thing about DeMarcus Lawrence when he was here, that dude had a motor, man. I see him run down the field, running after people. I'm like, man, that dude way down the field.
D-Law has never changed. He always had a motor, gonna give you his all.
Yeah, he give you all, man.
On the line, body on the line. It's just that, hey, he got on a team full of dogs.
Yeah.
Who was hungry, and they won. That's just the bottom line.
And he made some plays for him this year, too. Made one in the Super Bowl, too. So.
And I want to say this, and I saw Kale's comment. I want to say this, too, because we'll be talking about the team going forward and the kind of players we're going to be looking at, free agency, but the draft. One thing I can say about, Tank Lawrence, Randy Gregory, what the Cowboys need to do, they need to draft players that when you see them play, they just jump off the screen and you can just tell that they're a player. And we've seen that. We saw that with Booker this year. Like I said, going back, Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence. We can just look at the Cowboy drafts, and it don't take 2 or 3 years. You can just watch the guy play a couple of games and know that he's a player. He jumps off the screen, and Tank was one of those guys when he came in from Boise State. So this draft coming up, guys, I don't really care what they do, trade down, trade up. It doesn't really make any difference to me. What they better do is whoever they draft, I better be able to turn on a preseason game, not training camp. Preseason game 1, game 2, B-Bird, and I can see they drafted a football player, somebody that we know what they got. Do not draft somebody that's going to take 3 or 4 years to develop. Do not do it.
We ain't got time for that.
We're past that window. That window has closed.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was listening to him talking. I definitely agree with everything you're saying, Joe. I still think that the window is now. And you saying that people that jump off the screen, one of the things, the last person we drafted off like that was, think about this, wow, that guy can play. Parsons and a CD Lamb, and you can say Booker and so we drafted some of those guys.
You can see it in Diggs too.
Yeah, you definitely can see it in Diggs. Yeah, you can see it in Diggs too. So we have drafted those guys, man, but we definitely need impact guys. That's why I'm really big on Caleb Downs because somebody said this is a statement that sold me on him because I already heard about him. But they said, man, he the best cover guy in the whole draft. I was like, as a safety?
A lot of people got him down as the best player in the draft.
Man, that's crazy. Like
when you watch Ohio State,
there's a lot of publications that have him as the number 1 player in the whole draft.
Man, that's
and when you watch Ohio State, he jumps off the screen. Sonny Styles does too.
Yes.
Yeah. They play sideline to sideline. So either one of them guys, you're gonna be good. I do like the corner from LSU, The player I don't like, and I've heard multiple content creators say the same thing. I'm not a big fan of Falk from Auburn, so that's who they're going to draft at 12. And they're going to tell you he needs 3 years to develop. You heard it here first.
Moses Smith Jr.
Oh yeah.
Listen, which goes back to almost back to the beginning of things that we all said. You know, I did a show. Last show I did was about urgency. Like how you know what's your sense of urgency? If Big Bird says we got about a two-year gap, then if it's a 2-year gap, and if that's what y'all thinking, we ain't got much time. So you need to stack the deck. That's the way I look at it. Stacking the deck is one world championship. Just saw it. Seattle. I just brought out the Rams the other year, and I said the Buccaneers the other year. Stacking the deck wins championships. Is just the truth. We're not saying eliminate the draft and developmental system because you got to have that. That's the bloodline of your organization. You got to do it. But the Cowboys primarily love that and have an allergic reaction to free agents. I'm talking about impact guys.
Yeah.
Guys that can quite get you over the hump. In other words, dogs, DAWGS. We are allergic to that. Y'all know how we do free agency. We were, instead of drafting, going to work in free agency in the first couple of days, we wait until the second week of free agency and go get the bottom of the barrel guys just to fill in the roster. We never really go do anything. We go get a trade. I give you that. We do a trade. We'll go trade for an Amari Cooper. We'll trade for George Pickens. We'll trade for a Quentin Williams. We'll do that. But those are trades. When it comes to spending money, however, this is where we do moonwalks galore. I mean, just moonwalk. We scared to pay money for big guys. I think Brandon Carr was the last big one, and they got poisoned by that, and they ain't tried ever since. It's just like something that Kale just said. Good Lord. I think that you said the market for the running back now is 7.3. Let me put that up there. We all know that they love Javonte Williams. I believe Javonte is going to re-sign here. But look at that number there. Man, we were struggling talking about we didn't want to pay Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Is that 773 or 7.1? 7.3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying like we struggle paying guys, man. We don't want to pay the big money for the guys. It's just that simple, man. We just don't do it. So again, how urgent are we to want to win a championship? If you're doing that, you're going to strengthen your strengths, and you're going to build your weaknesses into a strength. That's primarily on the defensive side. But if you're talking about doing anything on this offensive side, if you're talking about taking away Steele, it better be somebody that is as good as Steele or better. I don't want development. I like Muaga from Miami. I like Proctor from Alabama. But I don't want to downgrade. I'm sorry. If you're going to cut Steele, you better look. If Nate Thomas is the guy, if Nate Thomas, who's on your roster, if you feel like he's better than Steele, then we roll with him. But I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I ain't got time for no experiments, moving guys from this spot to that spot, move Guyton over to right tackle. If you move Guyton from left tackle to right tackle, who your left tackle? Okay, Tyler Smith. Okay, you move Tyler Smith to left tackle. Who your left guard? Who your left guard then?
Yeah.
Please, let's stop. Leave the offense alone. Let's go ahead and get better on defense. If we would have had, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, listen, we're not talking about being like Seattle. If we would have had the 15th ranked defense in the league last year, we might have been playing real deep in the playoffs. The offense was gonna score. You're gonna get this team just a few extra possessions. That could have been the difference. But you can't have the number 1 offense in the league and the 32nd ranked defense in the league. All we need to be was just the middle of the pack. We would have been still playing. We were 7-9. I guarantee you, if we would have been 15th in the league in defense, we would have won double-digit games this year. Easily. No question. We wouldn't have lost the Carolina game. We wouldn't have lost the Arizona game.
Arizona game, yeah, that's the one.
We wouldn't have lost those games like that. We would have lost that. We would have won at least 10, 11 games this year. We would have been in the playoffs, no question. So the question is, since you know that, how desperate are you? That's my question to Mr. Jones. That's my question. I ain't really finna punish Will McClay on that. I'm not even, Will is great. I like Will. I'm not even putting it on Will. I want to know how desperate, since Jerry talking about I write a check, the biggest in the world to win the Super Bowl. Okay, here we go. You're going to have the money because you're going to restructure all these deals. You're going to have plenty of money. Salary cap going up. All right. 302 to 305 million. Let's see. Let's see how desperate you really are. Because you got 2 first-round draft picks. Okay, let's see. Let's see how desperate you really are. And we ain't going to be long before we find out, y'all.
Yeah,
it's not going to be long.
Well, it's coming. One thing that we talked about, we talked about the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. We talked about the Patriots last year. We talked about the offseason, right? And during the season. But I want y'all to understand that we're saying they went all in. So let's go backwards and ask why they went all in. Because they had a sense of urgency. What it was is they felt like, hey, man, we got to win. And what do we need to win? We need players. And so urgency makes you go out there and do that. Now, let's go back to urgency. Why? Because, and I'm sorry, I got to say it again, because we're trying to keep our jobs, y'all. They're going to be forced to fire us if we don't win. Yeah. Well, everybody out there listening to have a job, and if your household revolves around you having a job, if your boss come and tell you, hey, look out, man, your productivity is low. And if you don't fix it, we're going to have to let you go. Oh, you're going to come back and you're going to have some urgency. You're going to come back, your productivity going to go up. But if you don't have that, right, you're not going to have it. And that's what our problem, one of our major problems is we have no urgency because we don't have to. Nobody's job is on the line. And that's why we can just go into free agency or have a lame duck coach like McCarthy. And Jerry says, well, the reason why I'm not going to fire him is because I don't want to pay a coach for sitting home. A $4 million coach? Are you serious? No urgency, man. And so I like that you brought that word out, but I think that word, we looked at these other teams, because when you go and get Vrabel, but then you put $350 million behind them, what you're saying is, hey, we're New England Patriots. We're not used to this 4-13 thing. And guess what? We're not going to wait for 4 years to build up to something. We're going to go get the coach, go get the players right now. And we're going to go out there and compete. And that's what they did. That's what urgency do to you. Urgency. You know what urgency could do? It can also make you make some bad moves. I'd rather you make bad moves than no moves. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you try. I'd rather see it and say, okay, I see why they got that guy. That guy was hurt and everything. It didn't pan out. But dude, good move. I don't really judge a move by the, you know what I'm saying, like by the results. I've judged it by what it is, man.
Can I have a year finally where we stop getting so excited in the front office by XFL players? Go give me a goddamn real free agent, please. Yeah. Can we try that 1 year? I mean, I know Aubrey turned into an all-pro. Y'all hit the jackpot. I understand that. I understand, you got Kevontae Turpin, who's an all-pro from the USFL. But I'm tired of saving roster spots for XFL players. And we finally going to get a real free agent player that's going to make impact day one. I mean, come on now. Okay, that's all I got to say.
So I say your sense of urgency, B-Bird, it may not be you put all of your eggs in one basket with Jerry and Steven, but it could be the coaching staff. So the offensive coaches, they could have a sense of urgency because they know if they do well, they're going to probably get head coaching jobs, which is kind of generational money. And then with these new coaches, they may have a sense of urgency as well because they know that they're in a job where they got to perform. So hopefully you'll get some of that sense of urgency from the coaches. I think last year, I'm gonna say it. I said it earlier. If they had just named Jeff Whitecotton, the defensive coordinator, about halfway through, I think the players, if they didn't do anything, they would have played hard for him, and he would have changed some things up. So I think you might have ended up being, instead of being 32, you could have ended up being 26, 25, and that's probably what you need big time to make it to the playoffs. They didn't have the players, B-Bird. I would say they didn't, but when guys are just coming in and they want to play for the coach, it does make a difference, and you can see that. But so hopefully the coaches this season will have a sense of urgency, because if they have a good year, what's the coach from Arizona that we got? I'm losing my train of thought. If they have a good year, Clayton Adams will probably get interviewed for a head coaching job.
So Joe, I want to interject this.
Yeah.
The coaches always have a sense of urgency because they can get fired.
Yep.
I'm talking about the player acquisition part of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the Joneses, Jerry and Steven. They don't have a sense of urgency. So the coaches, they're going to have it because they can get fired. They're trying to win. Mm-hmm. But this is, like Big Time says, this is the time right here where we're going to see what the front office is made of, because Big Time, you labeled it right. This is their time right now, right? Big Time? This is their time. It's not players' time. It's not coaches' time. It's their time. So we're going to see what they do, man, because he's definitely right. We're going to see what kind of urgency they have, and we're going to see what kind of moves they make. If they've changed, we're going to know they've changed during this time.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to add before we wrap, if we're wrapping, and I hadn't heard anybody talk about this. I've been listening to content all week. I know you guys haven't talked about it. If they don't get Pickens signed, if they don't spend a lot in free agency, what's stopping Dak Prescott? And you look at what Matthew Stafford did a few years ago. He went from Detroit to the Rams. If they don't really do anything in free agency, they don't get Pickens signed. If I'm Dak Prescott, what's stopping me from going to the front office to Jerry and Steven and saying, just trade me to Houston? I can win a Super Bowl next year in Houston.
Really could, yeah.
Just trade me to New England. I can win a Super Bowl next year. So what's stopping Dak from doing that?
He has loyalty and pride of being a Cowboy and of being a good corporate guy.
But I don't think Dak is that guy.
Times do you want to? I've said for years that they didn't believe in Dak Prescott.
Oh, I don't believe it.
And he don't believe in them.
I said it, and they proved it by doing all this franchise tagging twice and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But they shocked me when they gave him his contract. They believe in him now. You don't pay that type of money that you gave him for that. But at some point, they're going to say, look here, been quarterback for 11 years. You know, we ain't got no results. And so they're going to want to change it eventually. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to, it's going to happen regardless. But why not take the approach like the Rams did with Stafford? Why not take the approach that the Buccaneers did with Brady? Mm-hmm. You surround him with everything that he wants, everything that he needs. You already look. The offense is set, y'all. I'm rolling with them. If that means, and yes, that includes Terrence Steele.
Yeah,
I'm the offense is ready to rock again. That don't need to change. Don't subtract what you already have. It does not make any sense. If you're talking about, if everybody says a Super Bowl caliber offense, why do you want to moonwalk and go back to being just an NFC East championship offense? Forget that. You want to win the Super Bowl? Go. Now, to answer your question, what's stopping Dak from doing it? You never know. He might want a legacy finally and say, I want to win. He might say that. He might say, hey, I may need to go. Y'all trade me away. Get what you can get for me and roll on. It could be that way. If Dak is he talks like he wants legacy. He talks like it. He might end up saying what he'll never say it because he got too much, corporate in him. But he may have that same feeling that DeMarcus Lawrence had. hey, I can't win one here. He might say it. You know, he won't say it on the mic.
Yeah.
He might say that, and that time will come. But give him a look. This is what I said. I think Henny said this better. I think it was Landlord. It's one or the other. I heard them say it. I was on late listening to their show, but it was perfect. The Buccaneers gave Brady his all-in year. The Rams gave Stafford his all-in year. Give it to Dak.
Yep.
That means defense and offense. We already tried to give him his offense with no defense. You see where that got us, 7-9. That ain't gonna work. Go get Dak some defense. That's all you got to do. He got the offense locked up. That's just the truth. Give him what he needs. Give him his all-in year. Let's see what happens. I ain't saying mortgage the future. I'm not saying that because that's going to require trades. But you already look. And the other key thing, B-Bird and Joe, and I don't mean to bring this up. Look, we're not drafting in the 3rd and 4th round this year. You better hit a home run. You better hit a home run this first round.
Yeah.
If you're going to trade back or whatever, you better do some home run chess-like moves with these first couple picks. And then let's roll from there. But you got to make it happen this year.
It's going to be good players in every round. They can trade up, trade down. It doesn't really matter. You can't really mess the draft up. The way they ruin drafts, they just do goofy stuff. They can trade down, and I can promise you they're going to be good players right there. All they got to do, B-Bird, is just pick them. Yeah. And they always do weird stuff. That's what they do.
I don't think let me correct this, Jay. Well, I don't think none of us don't think we started off with that. I don't think we're off at all, far away at all.
Yeah.
I don't think the offense is ready to go. That's number one offensive league. That's dang near 30 points a game. You're gonna win a lot of games like that. But what we are saying is the mentality has to change. And that is a mentality that's been in this DNA of the Dallas Cowboys for a lot of years now, and that's the cheap way out. You'll put all this, but when we had Amari Cooper and a rookie CD and a healthy Michael Gallup, we had a pretty good offense. We had no great defense. They ain't really invested to the defense. They invested to the offense.
When was the last time, big time, we had a great defense?
Good point. That's what I'm saying. They've never, when did we really invest it? Like we do the offense. We pay all the money to the linemen. That's where the money done went. We gave all the money to the quarterback. We paid CD. We've invested. We give me a bit of that on defense, please. Yeah. Give me just a little bit of that. I ain't saying you're gonna do it all that way, but you got core pieces there. Build on the core pieces. It's really not hard. We
started the year after we traded Micah Parsons. We had no number one draft pick starting on defense.
Come on, man.
Well,
we had 4 of them starting on offense.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you're never going to convince me that they planned on trading Parsons. That was Jerry.
No, they ain't planning on doing that.
Oh, that was personal.
Mike Fisher reported this 2 times on this show recently, and he's pretty plugged in. He's reporting that they still believe they don't need a top flight safety. It's like if that's the case, they haven't really learned anything.
But here's my thing, okay? This is where you gotta lean. If y'all hoping for something, this is where your hope start. Okay, watch this. That's what they believe. What does Christian Parker believe?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's where your hope is. Your hope is that Christian Parker say, "Hey Jerry, no, if you want to do this, we need this." That's where your hope is, and hopefully their way of saying it will override Jerry and Steven this year. So far, so good, but we ain't got into the nuts and bolts. I keep trying to tell y'all, Shotty has done his job. Look who he went after. Look who it looks as if Christian Parker got his guys. Perfect so far. Now it's Jerry, Steven, and Will time. Here we go. Let's see. Free agency, draft. here we go. Let's see what change has really been made. That's all I'm gonna say.
So y'all OGs, y'all know who the Stylistics are, right?
Of course.
They had a show. They had a song that was called "Let the Clown Show Begin." Was that right? Was that the Stylistics?
There you go.
That's what we getting ready to get into.
Here we go.
Oh, the sideshow.
It was with the sideshow.
Right on.
Yeah, I thought it was Clown Show.
Go same thing.
When you OGs, you just say whatever it is.
So let the sideshow begin. That's where we are right now, big time.
And that's why I say again, I'm like this. I'm watching. See, I already know you gonna franchise Pickens. We don't have no problem re-signing our guys. We don't have no problem. I ain't finna get hype about that. I know you gonna sign Brandon Aubrey. I know you gonna sign Javonte Williams. I know you gonna put the tag on Pickens. I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about day one free agents, the first week in free agency. I want to see what you really gonna do. Or are you waiting primarily, as you always do, on the draft? That's what I'm. That's all. That's all I want. And that'll tell me I'm gonna be the first one on and say, hey, y'all don't get hyped. Y'all just calm down. I know we ready for football, but the Cowboys ain't ready. I'm gonna tell you, it sure is my name, Douglas Brooks. Big time, whatever you want to call me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all, don't even get your hopes up. I'm waiting for the results. That's all I'm waiting on. I want to see, since you sold, we gotta go. We got a 2-year gap. We need it. We finna find out. That's fine. 11 said Dak needs a running back. We talked about Love. There's some good free agents and running backs, but if y'all looking for free agents and running backs, Cowboys don't like paying running backs. Y'all know that. We do committed. So forget about the boy from the Jets. Don't even think about that. Don't even think. Even though I would love to have Breece Hall and Javonte Williams, but that's not gonna happen. So don't even think about it. They'll draft a running back in the 5th round or 6th round, and they always say, well, we got Jadon Blue. Look, Shotty don't like Jadon Blue. Don't try to shove Jadon Blue in my face.
Yeah.
I don't need a Deuce Vaughn part 2. I don't need to see that. The dude, Jadon Blue couldn't even lie when he was in street clothes for most of the year. A healthy scratch. I don't want to hear nothing about Jadon Blue. So it is what it is. Are we gonna be cheap? Or are we gonna do something? 11 says Kenny Walker. You know good and well Jerry ain't finna pay for Kenny Walker. Just stop it.
Oh, Kenneth Walker, yeah.
Don't even 11. See, it's
MVP.
The MVP, yeah.
Frustrated by Jerry not paying $10-11 million for Kenny Walker. He's not going to do that, and Kenny Walker is not coming to Dallas. So stop it. I hate to blow on your bust your balloon, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, I hate to do that. Jerry's not gonna do that. All right, I'm done, y'all. Y'all got more?
I'm good, man.
I think we're good.
Y'all good?
We
I don't
good.
know. Y'all got some more. I'm ready to rock. I don't know what y'all talking about. I got one that's hot, but I don't want to do that. I had to talk like, hey, no, 11. I'm sorry, man. He said, come on, no, Doc. You playing Madden over there. You can do that in Madden. Put Kenny Walker on your team and whoop Madden. That's not going to happen. How shocked are y'all? I hate to do this, but it's just how shocked are y'all that we got this many black coaches?
On the Cowboys?
Yeah, y'all shocked?
So we talked about it. I think, we so you what are you thinking?
I'm shocked. I ain't no sense of me lying. Hey, 11. Not see right here. 11. Now you talking.
Now they hired a white one today.
See, y'all see that right there?
I see it. I'm in Njoku. He's okay.
You put him with Ferguson. Guess what? You just strengthen your strength.
Yeah.
Because watch this. Njoku is better than Schoonmaker.
Oh yeah.
He's better than Ferguson.
Well, guess what? If you go with Ferguson and Njoku, you just strengthen your strength, and Njoku would not cost you a whole lot of money. See what I'm saying? That's how you give another bullet to Dak Prescott. That's a great thing right there. I like that. I don't think we're gonna do it, but I'm saying that's how you strengthen your strength. That's reasonable. I like that. Go ahead. Look. Jay say this. Look, watch this one. Now this would be unfair.
Yeah.
See that?
Well, that's what they should have done. Ferguson is another bad contract. They could have just held out and they could have got Kyle Pitts. So I think what we need to do at tight end, guys, what we did with Pickens with 1A and 1B or 2 1s.
Forget that, Joe. I can't let y'all go. Look, we got people done popped in. Now I can't do it. I ain't gonna let y'all go. We the OGs. Let me get back to the original question. Are y'all shocked that we got this many black coaches on there? Somebody say it's a loaded question. See, we've been going to deep water now.
I am.
I'm shocked.
We talked about the historical implications of having because we've had some defensive coordinators, but they were really not real defensive coordinators.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that too.
Yeah, so Parker is, and so I was hoping that they were going to get he's a guy from North Texas. I'm not really sure what happened there, but yeah, I think that they got what I asked for, so I'm not going to complain. I asked for young, innovative, and if they black, then yeah, I think it is surprising. So now we just got to let Jerry stay in the background if he can and let these guys implement their system. I still want to talk about what they're actually going to be doing. I'm not clear on what defense they're running, whether it's a 4-3-3, 4-5-2. I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm shocked. We got 2 noobs on the coaching staff.
Yes.
I'm not sure Jerry knew about that or would have been okay with it. So,
are you shocked?
Let me say this, man, because I want to clarify a couple of things. We all have biases, right?
Hey, stop, B-Bird. B-Bird, stop. Don't you let me down right here. Go ahead.
I don't know if I did or not.
So we all have biases, and you know, you got things that's racist, and then you got things that's biased. Like, you know, at my job, I, tend to the black coworkers. That's who I tend to mingle with, right? That's just what it is, because we're more culturally aligned and all that other kind of stuff. Well, white guys and white people are more culturally aligned too. So I've been on hiring committees too, where I could see myself, a young person across the table that looked like me. I can see a young me in that person, right? And so I'm more like, okay, I can see that person working with me or whatever. I need to give them an opportunity. Well, that happens a lot for other people too. So I think Jerry has biases, right? Like I think the front office had biases. Like what my mind looks at is a white head coach, a white offensive coordinator, and a white defensive coordinator, a white middle linebacker, a white tight end. I'm gonna throw those 2 in too, because those are 2 positions that we don't really. And so I think that he had his biases. And so I would say that it's a change. I am surprised, but I think you go back to say why it happened. I think because of Shotty's here. If you take Shotty out of here, I don't think this happens this way. Because I think he's going to go back to his old biases and go find guys that fit the description of a defensive coordinator, fit the description of an offensive coordinator, and fit the description. So when you do that, but what you're doing is that casting a wide net, you're not doing that anymore, because you're only casting a net in a certain type of pond, not the ocean. And so I think that Shotty said, no, I got to win, man. I ain't got time for these, to go get the prototype that you think, which is what Jerry's been doing all along. So am I surprised? Yes, I am surprised, because this is, and then we got a public enemy as the whole defense, because it's all black, pretty much. And so it's like, wow, they went all the way, the other way. I like it because I think, man, really, okay. So
don't you let me down, right?
Brothers can't be as brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? We can't, you know what? Dude be like, man, this, that, and that. Man, what you talking about? I've been through that. What are you talking about? No, go back over there and do your job, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be a whole bunch of that stuff there. I think it's going to be a lot more accountability also. with this coaching staff and the players. And you know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be some cultural things that come into place. I'm talking about the Cowboys culture that kind of come in line on the defense. I think you want some hard hitting stuff. You got the right coaching staff for that. So I am surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. But I think it really just goes back to Shotty really was involved in this coaching hire.
All right. I'm gonna take it because you done changed my delivery up. All right. Both of y'all did actually. So I'll say that. How do I want to start this off? Based off of Jerry being a 2-year-old man, and based off of us, I believe all of us over 50. Am I right? I know I'm 53. I may be the youngest out of everybody here.
Yeah, younger than me. I'm 60.
Okay. I'm 53. So all of us are pretty much were born I was born in the 70s, early 70s. Joe probably born in the 60s. B-Bird probably born in the 60s.
Yeah.
We were raised in a time where we knew the signs of racism. You know, the obvious stuff, we knew about that, but the signs of racism, in other words, we could see closet racists, and you didn't even have to use the N word. We can just tell, you know, we can tell. We know where you at. All right. Based off the history of Jerry, I don't care nothing about Michael Irvin loving him, Dion loving him, Emmett loving him. A lot of that is based off of what they did for Jerry. But at the same time, Jerry's had some very questionable situations. 11, just stay with me for a while. You don't have to agree. Just listen. It's just the truth. That picture, I never will get over that picture when he was a kid there.
Yeah.
The kids were trying to get into school. Of course, he was young.
University of Arkansas.
Exactly, in Arkansas there. And the only difference was that a picture gets a still shot. I wonder what would happen if it was a full video. Jerry was sitting there with his mouth open. We don't know what he said. He was just like, we don't know if it was shock or we don't know if he was adding in to the insults. We don't know. Wonder what the video would have said. Then I never will forget about the Kaepernick situation. And then said, okay, and he said that when the national anthem is played, all toes will be on the line. And if you're not, you won't wear a Dallas Cowboy uniform again. Well, let's just be honest with you. Most of his players are black.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. You got a few Caucasian brothers there, but most of his players are black. And then when you start talking about coaches, in case of when we start talking about the coaches, the Cowboys have never had obviously a black head coach. I'm not saying we should have. Let me preface myself. I mean, I'm not saying we should have. I'm saying the facts are we never had it. We've never had a black offensive coordinator, and we never had a black defensive coordinator. And I thought of, before we even started, the names that were listed, the primary name that everybody was talking about was Brian Flores. I said right then, there's nowhere in the world Jerry is not going to hire a black defensive coordinator. I don't care how good Brian Flores is. I don't care. That's what I said. I said it. You go back and look at my shows. And yes, I was saying that because in my mind, I said at the beginning, I know the signs of racism. Jerry, look, there's plenty of people that can smile and hug and all that type of stuff. And then at the same time, soon you turn your back, they'll call you an N-word. So I done seen that millions of times. I ain't just so sure about Jerry. That's just me. You don't have to agree in the chat. You don't have to, even Joe and B-Bird don't have to agree. I'm not sure about Jerry as far as being, non-racist. I'm not sure. I just seen some signs that say, okay, like that. I was shocked when Jerry allowed Christian Parker, a young one at that, young guy, 34 years old, young black man, and then also allowed him to hire several other black guys for position coaches. We good at black guys for position coaches. That ain't nothing new with Cowboys. We good at that. But being the head guy, defensive coordinator, something completely different. So I will say this. I will have to apologize for stereotyping Jerry because he did something that I never thought he would do. And I owe him an apology because he did hire my frat there. I'm shocked. And allowed all these other guys there. Now, why does that need to happen? It's simple. Is there a white guy that stars on defense for the Dallas Cowboys? No.
I have to think about it. No, I don't think so.
No. They're going to relate. They're going to relate to the young brothers.
Yeah.
We have I'm not saying they're not going to, Eberflus, I wasn't in the meetings. I wasn't in the meetings. I don't know. I didn't hear him. I know he used some cuss words and all that, but everybody used cuss words in coaching. That ain't nothing new. But as far as relatability and relating, Christian Parker is going to relate better with the team. And I'm just telling you the truth. It means something a little bit different. They're going to run through a wall for this dude. They're going to run through a wall for these position coaches. I'm not saying they're going to do it they didn't do it with Eberflus. I'm just saying it's just going to be better. So the answer, I'm shocked. I am. I ain't speaking for B Bird. I'm not speaking for Joe. I'm speaking for me. I'm shocked because I had the stereotype. I guess I'm just guilty. I got one of these cameras, y'all, that move with me. I bought them, y'all. Big time show. Y'all thank y'all for contributing to the cause. I move this way. Camera move with me. You see what I'm saying? I move this way. Yeah. Like, hey, move with me now. There you go. Okay, let me get myself back straight. Come on back.
Mine do that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm shocked that we got it. That's a culture changer within itself. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And kudos to Shotty. Shotty done, y'all. Let me tell you something. Maybe I need to do a show on this by myself. Maybe y'all guys need to. Maybe y'all guys might do it too. Shotty done changed his culture for real, man. I mean, he done shook the foundation. Yeah. He's shaking the foundation. And I believe it's going to be for the better. I want to say this. You're wrong on that, Cowboys. Will McClay is around because he's good. That's the bottom line. Will McClay is good at what he does. His scouting staff is great. Always have been. He was a coach in the Arena League. I know that's not the NFL, but he's got a little coaching experience. Scouts well. He does everything fine. He's the reason why we've been noticing some of these guys, some of these all pros we done have over the years because of Will. Not because of Jerry and Steven. As I done always said, Jerry and Steven don't watch no tape. That's Will and his crew that does that. So I want to, I don't know. But I'm going to leave that alone because we just jumped to a little deep water there. We might lose a few people on that, but I just had to say that. I'm shocked on that. Why not make him GM? Because Jerry Jones said he was GM in 1989. That's why. Jerry ain't giving up his seat for nobody. Yeah, Will is the kind of like the GM in deed. Jerry is the GM in name. Y'all understand that? Jerry don't do no work for like no GM. He let Jerry run his mouth. Jerry never is giving up the GM. Jerry gonna give it up when he die. Ain't nobody else getting that GM title until Jerry leave Earth. That's it. Yeah. Now Will do the work. Steven may do partial of the work, but Jerry gonna hold that title, president and GM, until he die.
Just in case we win.
Exactly.
Just in case we win, so he can say he's the GM.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they kept Will around. That's why they paying him the big bucks, because he know how to do the job. So that's why. All right, I'm done. I'm done with that. Y'all through now? Tell everybody before y'all leave. Tell everybody where y'all at.
Go on, Cowboy Joe.
So it was definitely an appropriate question, one that we can probably talk about all throughout the year. So it's not something that it's not the first time it's been brought up. So it was definitely a good appropriate question. But so you can find me and my son. We do father and son Cowboys and Sportscast. So I do a show with my son. We started our YouTube channel, and so I'm a third generation Cowboy fan. He's a fourth generation Cowboy fan. And so, like a lot of our millennials and third or fourth generation fans out there that are Cowboy fans, they kind of struggling with the fact that they hadn't won. I saw this yesterday. It's a crazy stat. And B-Bird, we talked about it ourselves on one of our shows. So, but by the time I was 37 years old, I had seen 14 NFC Championship games. So by the time I turned 37, I had seen 14 NFC Championship games, big time. My son is the same age. He's seen 0. Now that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show right there.
That's crazy.
So it's a lot of young Cowboy fans. They frustrated and they haven't seen this team win. And so we talk about that a lot on our show. So check us out, Father and Son Cowboys and Sportscast. And then on Twitter or X, I'm at Cowboy Joe 64. Check me out on there. And it's always good to be on with my brothers, my fraternity brother, the one and only Big Time Show, connected with him. And then, of course, the legendary B-Bird, who needs no introduction. I love doing content with these guys on Friday. So check us out on all of our channels.
Yeah, so it's B-Bird Cowboy, man. It's great being on with y'all. Been on with the brothers again, man. Just to chop it up. But some guys that been seeing some things, some of the same things I've seen over Cowboys over the years, man. So we can do it from a historical perspective. Definitely appreciate being on with y'all. But y'all can catch me on B-Bird Cowboys on YouTube and on X, man. If y'all get a chance, come over. I dropped a video last week. Planning on doing a video with my son because he's very passionate about Pickens. So I'm in discussions with him about him taking one side, I take the other side, and us debating about it and trying to see if we can come up with something. So and a couple of more things too with him. But y'all check me out. I'm gonna be doing some videos throughout the week. I did one recently, like I said, it was a live for like 30 minutes or so. You will go back and check that out. And just give me a like and a subscribe, y'all don't mind. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being on again, man.
All right. Most of you guys know me, I believe. Big Time Show. You can follow me the Big Time Show on YouTube and on Facebook and on X. Those three you can't miss me on. Do me a favor for everybody that's here. I need you to turn on the live notification button for all of us. That way you will not miss us coming on live. Once you should pop up on your phone, or if you're watching this on Twitter, whatever channel, you can do that as well. Whatever day we come on, that's fine. But as far as us three, we're together. We try to target in on Friday. We got a lot of stuff going on. And if we can't come, we're not gonna ever do two guys and one we made accountable, somewhat of a pact that we're gonna do it together. So whatever day that we come on, just turn it on and you'll see it come on. We'll make sure that we have the title there. You'll know it's us and not just one individual, that type of thing. But listen, always a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys are so good. We don't even have notes. We just sitting on the back porch, just talking. That's what you just saw today. We don't do notes. We just roll, and that just show you the talent level that these guys have. Yeah. Appreciate you. He said, glad this came up while scrolling on lunch break.
Yep.
This guy right here. So I hope you guys see what I'm saying. This is what we do. So it just goes to show that this show works. And the most part, he said we talk truth. We real Cowboy fans. We'll say they good and then we'll say they bad. We'll talk bad about Jared, then we give Jared credit when it's time. We'll give Dak credit. Yeah, exactly. We don't care. We've seen we've seen pretty much all the championships from the 70s all the way up until the 90s. So we know what the championship organization kind of looked like. We know. We've seen it here. So it's like that. Let me pump my girl up only because I like her so much. Kels, if y'all not following, let me see what she got here. Kels says her second draft show kicks off Sunday on that BDG is Built Different group.
Oh, what's that on? I'm sorry.
That's on Facebook for sure. I don't know if she's on YouTube with that or not. Kels will put it in there in a second, but definitely Built Different group. So that starts on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Is on Facebook, and I'm quite sure if she is on YouTube, she'll say that in just a few seconds probably. But it's Built Different group. Go check her out. Kels will be on my show again. She was on it just about a couple weeks ago now. And she'll be on my show to drop all this. There it is. The show's title is Cowboys Unifier on YouTube.
Okay.
Cowboys Unifier on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check it out.
She's dominant on both platforms. So let's go check her out and support her as well, and the show that she's on. She always has great knowledge, and then of course she has an inside ear and eyes in the building of the Cowboys. So you always you're gonna hear some things that ain't made the TV yet.
Yeah.
So you probably want to check her out. So she's a tremendous resource for Dallas Cowboy content. All right, we done enough talking. We out. We'll holler at y'all the next time. Look for us next Friday, hopefully. KC Smack Talk, you joining in late. Appreciate you popping in. Thank y'all so much for hanging with us. We'll see you on next Friday, perhaps, as a group.
Yes.
For the one and the only. This has been the Cowboys OG Podcast. We out of here, y'all.
Have a good one, guys.